Welcome back to the Cool FAB Racing British Minibikes Championship. Looks like Sullivan Mountsee's got an issue. Supposed to be going off the front row on P2. They're trying to get that bike going. Let's have a look at the grid positions anyway. It's Mason Foster, the 2018 champion, who goes off pole. Sullivan Mounsee should be going off P2. Let's hope he gets the bike going. The man on the Hyundai Power equipment there, the 44 bike. Then comes Johnny Garness. 6 podiums and 9 race wins. Good enough for second in the championship for Johnny. Clayton Edmonds, the dude, is going off P4. Let's hope he keeps it upright during the race. Chopper Harris goes off P5 running the 66 bike. Then Luca Hopkins running the 41 with 1 podium this year going off P6. Off P7, it's the 7-year-old from Maidstone in Kent, it's Ethan Sparks. Off P8, it's Harrison McKay. The 9-year-old from Lincoln rides a 61 bike. Then Troy Jeffrey, well out of position, 14 podiums, but only down on P9. Incredible. Run race win as well this year. Jamie Woodcock comes next off P10. Off P11, it's Jada Howe, the 11-year-old from Ipswich. Taylor Stewart Campbell comes next going off P12, the 8-year-old from Wokingham. Off P13, it's Greg Marshall riding the 19 bike. He's 10 years of age from Harrogate. Then comes Keaton Payne off P14, and rounding out the 15 rider grid for this one, it's Jacob Stevenson on the 67 bike. Mason Foster got the deal done. He's the 2018 champion and starts from pole. Jake.
Well, he does, but it's Mounsey who's away like a lightning bolt, and up the inside, that looks like Garness has gone through past both of them, and that's a brilliant move from Foster to get into second past Mounsey as well. What was that? 3 overtaking moves in 1 corner, pretty much. Absolutely terrific. Garness now your leader from Foster and Mounsey. Clayton Edmonds, the dude himself, is there in 4th position as they run through the left-hand hairpin. Well, what a shuffle of the deck that was at the start. We had a cracking getaway initially from Mounsey, and then Garness and Foster just leapt on him on the exit of turn 1. It's all very well and good to get a great stop, but you've got to finish the deal through the first corner. So out in front, Johnny Garness leading the way here in front of Mason Foster. And this is a brilliant opportunity for the pair of them to end their season on a high.
As you say, Jake, great start for Sullivan Mounsey, but he didn't seal the deal through turn 1.
He's going to have a
Foster
go.
Down the inside, he's not going to get it done there.
Really nicely worked, though. He almost had an opportunity up the inside. So brilliant racing, and it's a real mark of distinction as to how well this Cool FAB Championship has grown. I mean, you can see the talent very much in evidence around the circuit, and it's all coming through. And we can see certainly at the end of the season, although Mason Foster has lifted the championship in the end without too much of a challenge from his opposition, you've got to remember that earlier in the season, Johnny Garness was right on his tail and could have been champion himself.
Well, he was actually leading the championship when he broke his collarbone, and unfortunately, a bit like he did last year at the last round, breaking his arm, breaking his wrist?
Yes, indeed.
At Rowra. That is Sullivan Mounsey picked out there on the new Hyundai Power equipment.
Oh, here we go
bike.
again. Foster's trying again. He always gets a good run out of that final turn, but it's under braking on that inside line. You see, he doesn't want to do what happened. The same thing happened in the previous race, didn't it? And there was a chance, of course, for the Munson burner to lose it, and he did on that ripple. And I wonder if that's just a little bit of hesitation from Mason Foster in exactly the same respect on that inside ripple, just not wanting to push it too hard, too early on in the race. Because obviously you've got to pace it. You don't just want to rush in and go ugly early, as they say. But it's Garness, Foster and Mounsey. Mounsey is actually the fastest rider on track at the moment in 3rd place, just watching this unfold.
Yeah.
Oh, and, sorry, I just saw in the background.
The dude's
Clayton
down.
Edmonds. Clayton Edmonds.
Just saw it, Jake.
Oh, not again.
Just off to the right on the drone there.
There he is. You can see him there, unfortunately. Oh, what a shame.
Out from a solid 4th place again.
Oh,
The
this
dude
time
goes
Foster's
down.
going to get it done. This time Foster sweeps by on Garness. He really got squeezed to the inside, nearly into the tyres there, which is absolutely fine. Hard and fair racing between the 2 leaders. But Foster had enough space. He said, no, I'm not going to be intimidated. I am coming through. Deal with it.
Bear in mind that Mason Foster here, out front, champion this year, the youngest of the 3 we're looking at. As we look at the battle for 10th place, that's Woodcock, Jada Howe and Keaton Payne battling for 10th. So good battles all the way through the field. Back with the lead battle. Mason Foster out front here, 8 years of age. Johnny Garness is 9. I think Sullivan Mounsey is 10 if I remember rightly. So Mason Foster doing what Casey O'Gorman does. We look at Clayton Edwards there, attended by the marshals. They're on the radio to say he's okay, he's on his feet. So good to see Clayton recovering. But yeah, Mason Foster doing basically what Casey O'Gorman did a couple of years ago, winning this championship at just 8 years of age. I will say, for where Sullivan Mountsie is concerned, this is a great performance, not least because if you look at the size of Sullivan compared to the other riders here, you can see he is a little bit tall, a little bit bigger. And unlike karting, where all the carts have to weigh the same, in bikes you can't add lead to a bike, it would just unsettle the bike. So it will come down in these junior categories sometimes to a little bit of a power to weight advantage for some of the risers and a disadvantage to others. In this case, Sullivan Mountsie doing a great job here because he will be carrying a little bit more weight than the other kids, but nonetheless, obviously they're younger, so they've got that to overcome, less experience than, of course, Sullivan.
Yeah, sometimes the weight distribution issue is something you just can't really avoid in bike racing. It is the way it is.
Mason Foster leading from Johnny Garness and Sullivan Mountsie out front. Ronnie Harrison is further back in fourth. Then comes Luca Hopkins and Ethan Sparks. Harrison McKay in seventh. In eighth and ninth, we've got Taylor Stewart Campbell and Greg Marshall. Then a trio battling, Jamie Woodcock, Jada Howe and Keaton Payne, with Jacob Stevenson in 13th and the dude out.
So a really exciting battle all the way through this field as the riders are just trying to finish their season on a good high. And this is going to be a very interesting battle to the end because Garness has not quite lost Mountsie. Is that an issue for one of the riders further back? I think I just saw either a mechanical defect or a rider just getting out of the way as we see Foster, Garness and Mountsie still battling away. I think that was a battle going on there between Harris and Sparks.
It's a battle for ninth headed by Greg Marshall. That's Marshall, Woodcock, Howe and Payne. So Greg Marshall now looks like he's coming under pressure from the group behind. These are the battles all the way through the field. This is where you learn your trade. It's not at the front, it's in these midfield battles. These are the battles you want to come out on top of because although, as we've said before, this is for ninth today, it might be for this battle next year, the battle for the lead.
Yes, indeed. We've seen it time and time again. Riders from one year to the next will be midfielders the year before. The next year, the riders are actually fighting for the championship. So we are obviously going to be expecting to see some of those names towards the front next year. Remember where you saw them and keep a note of those names. They will be battling for top six finishes regularly, we hope, in 2019. Still, this battle for second rages as Johnny Garness has dealt with the pressure of Mason Foster as best as possible, but had to let him go. So now he's just trying to hang on in front of Sullivan Mountsie. Foster's pulling away a little bit, not dominantly. He's still there or thereabouts. This is a very admirable effort. We've got to remember still from the recovering Johnny Garness, he's not quite at full fitness yet, and he's doing an absolutely amazing job considering.
Yeah, you've got Mason Foster, who's the youngest. You've got Johnny, who's still recovering. I don't care what you say. He's still recovering from that broken collarbone. He'll still be suffering a little bit of pain, I would imagine. So he's having to deal with that. Sullivan, on the other hand, as we go into the last lap, is having to deal with the fact that he's a lot bigger than the two guys in front. So he's got a power to weight disadvantage. So all of them working their magic, basically.
Out of shot of the cameras, we've also had a change for position, Hopkins and Harris. Hopkins has got through into fourth position, past Ronnie Harris, so he's made the leap forward. Good performance from him. Oh, bit of a twitch there from Mason Foster. You don't want to do that on the last lap of the season. Goodness me, just about got away with it, but it's astonishing to think, isn't it, watching these guys, in particular Mason Foster, new champion for 2018. 8 years old. He certainly doesn't look 8 years old, does he? And we've even had people in the past looking at these this footage and these images looking, oh, wondering when I can buy that video game. It ain't a game, folks. This is real stuff. Absolutely amazing. Foster over the line and wins the last race of the season. What a way to bow out of his championship winning season in front of Johnny Garness and Sullivan Mountsie. Fourth place for Luca Hopkins in front of Ronnie Harris. A great end to the season then for Mason Foster. Going back to the previous races in the weekend, well, it's been an absolute march concours d'elegance from Mason Foster, winner of race 1 and race 2 as well. So he leaves here at Tattershall his championship winning weekend with the hat-trick. And he totally deserves the plaudits for winning the title. His main rival, Johnny Garness, unable to be close enough to challenge after his injury, but a great fight back. Mountsie third, Jeffrey fourth, and Hopkins rounds out fifth.
Mason Championship winner in 2018. Well done. Great way to finish the season, though. Just talk us through that last race.
Well, I didn't get a great start, so I was down to third, but Sully jumped the start, so he let us through. I found it quite hard to pass Johnny, but I finally got past him and pulled a bit of a gap, and then I won it.
And great season. Who do you want to thank?
Really, I can't thank my dad enough for just getting my bike prepared and all that. Juicen, Angler Karting Centre, X-Lite, RB Racing, and all my other sponsors.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.